The screech of tires tore through the night like a scream I couldn't escape. Metal twisting into a symphony of ruin as my world flipped end over end. In that suspended chaos, time fractured me heartbeat, the only anchor in the void, and I whispered a final apology to the life I'd half-lived. The secrets I'd buried under layers of routine denial. Then, light pierced the darkness. Not heaven's glow, but the steady beam of hazel eyes, pulling me back from the brink with hands that felt like fate's own. I woke to the hum of monitors and the sterile scent of antiseptic. My body a map of aches and bandages. But alive. Seattle's relentless rain pattered against the window like impatient fingers, blurring the city lights into a watercolor of second chances. Dr. Elias Grant stood at the foot of my bed, chart in hand, his presence a quiet anchor in the storm of my recovery. He was in his mid-30s, with the kind of face that carried stories' warm olive skin, short black hair touched by early gray at the temples, and those hazel eyes that seemed to see straight through to the fractures I'd hidden for years. "Mr. Harlan," he said, his voice a low timbre laced with Midwestern calm. "You gave us a scare. But you're here. That's what matters." Brooks Harlan, that was me. 28. A graphic designer from the rainy edges of the Pacific Northwest. The kind of guy who'd always blended into the background, sketching dreams he never chased. In the haze of pain meds, I watched him move with efficient grace, checking 4 lines and murmuring reassurances to the nurses. There was something in the way he lingered a beat too long, his gaze brushing mine like a secret shared. Gratitude swelled in my chest, but beneath it stirred something sharper, unnamed, a pull that made my pulse quicken beyond the monitor's beeps. I'd crashed my car on a slick highway curve, distracted by a phone call from my ex, the one who'd left because I couldn't admit what I felt. Now, reborn from the wreckage, I vowed silently, this time, I'd face the truths I'd dodged. And if fate had handed me Elias, I'd weave it closer, thread by careful thread. The first days blurred into a rhythm of checks and echoes. Elias Dr. Grant to the staff. But Elias in my fevered thoughts was the lead surgeon who'd pieced me back together, shattered femur pinned with titanium, ribs taped like forgotten promises, and a concussion that left my mind adrift in what-ifs. He visited twice daily, his rounds a ritual I began to anticipate like sunrise. "How's the pain today, Brooks?" he'd ask, pulling up a stool, his scrubs whispering against the linoleum. I'd manage a grin through the fog, like I arm wrestled a truck and lost. He'd chuckle, a sound like distant thunder rolling in, and jot notes while I stole glances at the faint lines around his eyes, wondering what burdens etched them there. Nurses whispered about him, brilliant, single, the doctor who stayed late for the tough cases. I pieced together fragments born in Chicago to Mexican immigrant parents. He'd traded snow for Seattle's fog after med school at Johns Hopkins, drawn by the harbor's promise of solace. Me, I'd grown up in a suburb of Tacoma, son of a fisherman dad and a teacher mom, both gone too soon to cancer's quiet theft. My coming out had been a non-event, buried under "it's just a phase" until it wasn't. And relationships fizzled into friendships because I feared the fall. The accident had stripped that away, in the ER's fluorescent glare. As Elias's team fought for my pulse, I'd glimpsed my own fragility. Reborn, I decided, meant no more hiding, but how to bridge the chasm to him. Subtlety became my scalpel. By week 2, mobility returned in halting steps, crutches clicking like Morse code across the hall. Physical therapy was a battlefield of sweat and surrender. But Elias appeared one afternoon, clipboard in tow, offering to shadow the session. "Call it professional curiosity," he said with a half-smile that crinkled his eyes. We walked the ward's loop, my arm brushing his for balance, sparks igniting in the contact. He shared snippets, a love for jazz records spinning late into night, The way Puget Sound's ferries reminded him of home. I confessed my sketches, the digital worlds I built to escape my own. "Show me sometime," he said, and in that offhand invitation, I saw my first thread. Discharge loomed like a horizon, paperwork stacking like unanswered questions. I lingered over meals, drawing out conversations until the night shift hushed. One evening, as rain lashed the panes, Elias sat longer than usual. "You've got fire in you, Brooks." Most folks would have folded after a hit like that. His words hung heavy, stirring the embers I'd long banked. I met his gaze, heart thudding. Maybe I was waiting for the right hands to pull me through. The air thickened, charged with unspoken currents. But he glanced at his watch. Duty calling. As he left, I traced his silhouette in my mind, plotting the first chance encounter, a follow-up I'd engineer beyond these walls. Home was a loft in Capitol Hill, walls lined with half-finished canvases and the ghosts of solitude. Crutches propped against the door. I collapsed onto the couch, the city's pulse thrumming below like a shared heartbeat. Therapy notes from Elias burned in my pocket. Monitor progress. Emotional resilience key. Resilience. I'd clung to that word like a lifeline. The accident replayed in dreams, tires hydroplaning. The ex's voice fading into sirens, but now it fueled resolve. I wasn't just healing bone. I was excavating self, unearthing the man who'd loved quietly, fiercely, in shadows. Elias had saved my body. Now, I'd chase the spark he'd unwittingly lit in my soul. First follow-up, the clinic in Pioneer Square, where his practice anchored amid coffee roasters and market bustle. I arrived early, crutches traded for a cane, nerves jangling like loose change. The waiting room smelled of fresh brew and old magazines, patients flipping pages with distracted sighs. When my name echoed, I rose, steadying breath. Elias emerged from his office, white coat over a button-down that hugged his frame just so, surprise flickering in his hazel depths. "Brooks," looking steadier already. We shook hands, his grip firm, lingering a fraction. Inside, charts and a fern softened the space. He gestured to the exam table, but I eased into the chair opposite, turning checkup into conversation. We talked mobility, pain scales, but veered to life beyond, his volunteer shifts at the free clinic, my freelance gigs designing apps for queer youth nonprofits. "That's meaningful work," he said, leaning forward, elbows on knees. "Puts the fractures in perspective." I nodded, pulse racing. "You gave me that perspective. Felt like rebirth." The word slipped out, heavy with intent, and his eyes held mine, a beat of silence stretching like possibility. He cleared his throat, prescribing PT and a follow-up in 2 weeks. As I left, Pike Place's flower stalls blooming defiant in the drizzle. I mapped the next weave, a coffee shop near his route home. Accidentally crossed paths. Weeks blurred into a deliberate dance. Seattle's autumn draped in gold and gray, leaves skittering like secrets across sidewalks. My body mended cane discarded, runs along the waterfront tentative but triumphant, mirroring the slow unfurling within. Nightly, I'd journal under desk lamp glow, entries laced with Elias's laugh lines. The way his fingers tapped rhythms on his mug during our clinic chats. Doubt crept in whispers. Was this pursuit or obsession? But the accident's echo urged forward, life too brittle for half measures. I was gay, unapologetically now. The closet's door kicked wide in that ER haze. Yet vulnerability terrified. What if he saw only the patient, not the man? The coffee encounter unfolded on a crisp Thursday, fog veiling the sound like a lover's breath. I'd scouted the slate, a hole in the wall near Virginia Mason where staff gossiped over lattes. Sipping black amid laptop hum, I spotted him entering, collar up against chill, Heart slamming. I noticed just as he cued. Dr. Grant. Small world. He turned, genuine delight breaking across his face. Brooks. Join me. We claimed a corner table. Steam rising between us like confessions. Talk flowed, his med school stumbles. My family's lost legacy. The quiet ache of holidays alone. Ever feel like you're rebuilding from scratch? I ventured, tracing foam hearts in my cup. He paused, gaze distant. Every day? Surgery's a reset button. But the heart, that's the real graft. Our knees brushed under the table. Accidental fire. And neither pulled away. From there, threads multiplied. A book signing at Elliott Bay's favorite indie haunt I stumbled upon. Both reaching for the same worn copy of Baldwin's essays. Fate's got a sense of humor. He quipped. Autograph shared over wine later. Walks along the locks. Salmon leaping like hopes renewed. Where he admitted the divorce 2 years back. The ex who couldn't weather residency's storms. I shared my own fractures, the ex's goodbye. The accident's cruel timing. Vulnerability bridged us. Electric and tender. But always on the edge, professional lines blurring into personal fog. By month's end, invitations turned mutual, dinner at his queen and row house. Overlooking the lights like scattered stars. The space breathed him jazz vinyls stacked. Medical tomes mingled with poetry. A balcony fern thriving against odds. We cooked paella, his abuela's recipe. Laughter spilling as rice stuck and wine flowed. Over candle flicker. Stories deepened, his coming out at 22. Family's fractured acceptance. My own delayed bloom at 26. Post-dad's passing. You make the world feel less like tree-off. He said softly, hand covering mine across the table. The touch ignited. A promise unspoken. But I held back, savoring the build. Reborn meant patience, not plunder. Yet shadows loomed. A clinic call, Elias's schedule jammed. Our rhythm faltering. Insecurity gnawed was I weaving too tight. Scaring him off. Dreams twisted the accident anew. Elias fading into smoke. I doubled down. Planning a weekend hike at Discovery Park. Casual invite via text. He agreed. Voice warm over line. As trails wound through cedars. Mist cloaking roots like hidden truths. We pushed pace. Breath sinking. At the bluff's edge. Waves crashing below. He stopped. Turning to me with raw intent. Brooks. These encounters, they were not accidents. Are they? Heart stilled. I confessed the blueprint. The pull from that first gaze. Silence stretched. Wind whipped. Then his smile broke. Hand finding mine. Good. Because I've been hoping you'd make the next move. What followed was a cascade kisses salt tinged by sea air. Confessions murmured under moonrise. But joy's peak birthed tempests. Elias's ex resurfaced. A lawyer with polished regrets. Stirring old wounds. My freelance dried up. Bills mounting like unspoken fears. Doubts resurfaced. Could I, the reborn survivor, hold space for his scars? Arguments flared over texts. Silences stretching like the accident's void. One night, rain lashed. I drove to his door. Pulse echoing tires on wet asphalt. I planned every step to reach you. I said, voice cracking. But I can't plan love. Just show up. He pulled me in. Embrace fierce. Whispering. That's all I need. Months wove into seasons. Our lives entangling like ivy on brick. I sketched him in repose. Lines capturing the man beyond scrubs. He gifted me a stethoscope pendant. Listen to your own heart. We volunteered together at the clinic. Hands linking in quiet advocacy for those like us queer lives mending in margins. The accident's anniversary dawned gray. But we marked it at the crash site's overlook. wildflowers pushing through guardrail cracks. You saved me twice, I murmured, his arms my harbor. Once in the oar, once here. He kissed my temple. Hazel eyes steady. We save each other. Brooks. That's the real rebirth. In the end, it wasn't the grand gestures, but the dailies, the shared coffees at dawn. Debates over Coltrane riffs. The way his laugh chased my shadows. Seattle's rains softened to spring, mirroring our bloom. I'd planned the encounters. Yes. But love. That was the unscripted miracle. A testament to showing up. Scars and all. Reborn. We walked forward, hands clasped, into a world remade not by accident, but by choice. The ferry horn blared across the sound, a call to deeper waters. As Elias and I leaned against the rail, wind tugging at our jackets. It was our first real getaway since that bluffside admission Vashon Island for a weekend of trails and tide pools. Away from pagers and deadlines. But even in escape, the past lingered like salt on skin. That morning, over pancakes sticky with maple, he'd mentioned the ex again, Marco. The one who'd bailed when Elias chose patience over partnerships. He texts sometimes. Elias said. Fork pausing midair. Says he's sorry. My chest tightened. Not jealousy, but echo of fear of being left in the waiting room of someone else's heart. I squeezed his hand under the table. Calluses from my stylus meeting the steady veins of his surgeon's grip. Sorry doesn't rebuild bridges. I replied. Voice even. But inside, the planner in me stirred. Mapping contingencies, more nights in. Shared goals. Anything to fortify us against cracks. Rebirth wasn't linear. It looped. Testing resolve with every swell. Back on the mainland. Reality crashed. ME portfolio pitch rejected. Elias pulling a double shift for a teen overdose. Alone in the loft. Sketches half formed. I paced. The cane long gone, but its ghost limping my thoughts. What if my weaving had trapped us in illusion? Not truth. Therapy helped. The kind Elias recommended post-discharge, a queer-affirming counselor in Belltown. Sessions unpacking the accident's underbelly. Trauma rewires us. She said one drizzly Tuesday. Steam from her tea curling like questions. But so does love. Which will you let lead? I spilled at all the secret plans. The thrill of orchestration. The terror of surrender. She nodded. Eyes kind. Planning kept you safe once. Now, let it go, or it'll plan you. Her words echoed as I left. Rain slicking streets. And I texted Elias, rainy night in. Jazz and takeout. His reply, always. That evening unfolded like a favored track. Miles Davis low. Dim sum steaming on the coffee table. Our legs tangled on the rug. He arrived disheveled. Scrubs swapped for jeans and a Henley that hugged his shoulders. Exhaustion etching his face. Rough one, he murmured, sinking beside me. I drew him close, fingers tracing the gray at his temples, listening as he unburdened the kid's story. A runaway grappling with family rejection, mirroring our own youths. Tears pricked his eyes. Rare vulnerability cracking the healer's facade. I fix bodies. Brooks. But hearts. They're the surgery that never ends. In that moment, my own heart cracked open wider. The planner yielding to presence. I kissed his forehead, tasting salt. Then we'll operate together. We made love, then not the frantic spark of newness, but slow, reverent. Bodies mapping familiar shores. Afterward, wrapped in sheets scented of us, he traced my scar, the jagged line from the wreck. This, he whispered, is where you came back to me. Sleep claimed him, breath even, but I lay awake, staring at ceiling cracks like fault lines. Marco's shadow loomed. My career stall gnawed. Yet here, in the quiet, I chose faith over blueprint. Spring thawed Seattle's grip. Cherry blossoms dusting Alki Beach like confetti for our quiet milestones. 6 months in, we adopted a rescue Mutta Wiry Terrier mix named Jax. All boundless energy and wary eyes from the shelter where Elias volunteered. Walking him at dawn, leashes crossing like vows. Felt like family forged in fragments. Think he'll stick, I joked one morning, as Jax tugged toward a squirrel. Elias's laugh rang clear. Like us. Stubborn as hell. But beneath levity, currents shifted. My designs caught fire a campaign for a trans support line. Bold lines echoing my own emergence. Elias beamed at the revealed dinner. Toasting with craft IPAs. You're unstoppable. Yet unstoppable cracked under pressure. A late summer storm hit. Metaphorical and literal, lightning splitting a cedar near the loft. Power out for days. In the candlelit dim, Elias's phone buzzed incessantly. Marco again. This time with news of illness. A plea for closure. Elias paced. Voice strained over the call. I can't just ignore it. Brooks. He was my first everything. Jealousy flared. Hot and irrational. But I swallowed it. Offering instead, go. Be the man I fell for, the one who heals. He left at midnight. Rain sheeting. And I wandered the dark. Jax at my heels. Ghosts of abandonment howling. He returned at dawn. Soaked and spent. Collapsing into my arms. It was goodbye, he said, words muffled against my neck. But seeing you wait. That's home. We rebuilt in the outage's hushboard games by flashlight. Stories swapped like lifelines. Vulnerability bonded deeper. My fears voiced. His guilt's aired. I planned us into being. I confessed one night. Thunder rumbling. But staying. That's the real art. He pulled me close. Hazel eyes fierce. Then let's improvise. By fall's turn. Our rhythm steadied. Layered with intention. We hosted a potluck for clinic friends, queer docs, and artists mingling amid chili and charcuterie. Laughter echoing off exposed brick. Jax darted underfoot. A blur of joy. Elias caught my eye across the room. Mouthing love you. And the world righted. But life's script twisted anew. A job offer for me in Portland. Freelance turning full-time at a progressive studio. It's a fresh start. I said over waterfront brunch. Waves lapping like applause. His fork stilled. Conflict shadowing his face. And us. Long-distance surgery on a relationship. Debate stretched weeks, bros weighed like incisions. Cons slicing deep. I walked the parks alone. Leaves crunching underfoot. Weighing roots against wings. Elias dove into research. Pulling stats on commuter couples. His analytical mind a bomb and burden. We could make it work. He insisted one evening. Maps spread on the table like battle plans. But doubt festered. The accident's lesson echoed, clinging too tight shatters. Or we evolve. I countered softly. Reborn doesn't mean stagnant. The decision crystallized on a hike up Rattlesnake Ledge. Mist cloaking the summit like uncertainty. Midway. Breathless. Elias stopped. Hands on my shoulders. Don't go without me. Tears stung. I pulled him into Fog's embrace. Then come. Design with me there, tell him. Weekends weaving back. Compromise bloomed. Tentative, but true. Portland beckoned. But Seattle's pull held via hybrid paths and commuting. Him expanding practice south. We signed the lease together. Jax's paw print on the dotted line. Winter wrapped us in transitions chill. Boxes stacked like questions. Amid packing, Elias's hospital honored him with an award, innovative care for LGBTQ+ patients. A plaque gleaming under gala lights. I stood beside him. Suit crisp. Heart swelling as he thanked. The man who taught me rebirth isn't solitary. Applause thundered. But his whisper cut through. This is ours. Back home. Champagne fizzed. We danced slow in the emptying loft. Shadows long. Planned or not. He murmured, "You're my best accident." As snow dusted the Cascades, we crossed into new chapters, Portland's bridges spanning our divide. Calls bridging nights. Challenges lingered, missed flights. Exhaustion's toll. The ache of empty beds. But each hurdle honed us therapy tandem now. Vulnerability, our sharpest tool. Spring found us rooted in rose-hued rentals. Jack's chasing frisbees in laurel-husk equivalents. My career soared. Designs touching lives. Elias's impact rippled wider. Lectures on resilient hearts. One anniversary eve. Under Portland's starry sprawl. I knelt not with rings, but a sketchbook, pages chronicling our weave. From gaze to this. I planned the start. I said, voice thick. But you planned the forever. Tears traced his cheeks as he drew me up. Kiss sealing the vow. Reborn. We stood not flawless, but whole proof that love's deepest cuts heal into grace. Summer's heat baked the Willamette. Mirages dancing on pavement as Elias and I navigated our bifurcated life. Portland embraced vibrant murals splashing color on gray days. A queer scene pulsing with unapologetic pulse. My studio hummed. Deadlines blurring into fulfillment. But evenings echoed hollow without his steady presence. Video calls bridged the gap. His face pixelated yet dear. Hazel eyes crinkling over shared anecdotes. Jax misses you, I'd say, panning to the mutt's wagging tail. He'd laugh. Tell him Dad's home soon. But soon stretched. Residency demands chaining him to Seattle's ORs. The strain showed in Fishers, a canceled weekend when a patient's crisis peaked. My frustration spilling in a late-night voicemail raw. Unintended. I get it, Elias. But I'm drowning in soon. His reply came dawn soft. I'm sorry. Flying down Friday promise. Guilt gnawed as I deleted drafts of blueprints. Old habits tempting control. Instead, I channeled into art a mural for a local center. Figures emerging from wreckage. Hands extended in trust. Unveiling night. Crowds gathered. But my eyes sought his arrival. Heart lifting as he wove through. Suit rumpled from travel. We collided in the throng. Embrace fierce amid cheers. It's stunning. He breathed. Fingers tracing painted scars mirroring mine. Dinner followed at a riverside bistro. Candlelight flickering on water. Talk turned tide, the pull of dual cities. Dreams deferred. What if we consolidate? He ventured. Wine glass twirling. My practice could root Heritel Health as booming. Hope flared. But caution tempered. And your team? The kids you save up north. He sighed. Hand finding mine. Balance. Brooks. Like us. That night. In the hotel's hush. We mapped futures not rigidly, but fluid. Bodies entwining like rivers merging. Yet balance tipped. Fall brought Elias's expansion consults in Portland. But Seattle's siren call persisted. A brutal case haunted him, a young trans man. Post-op complications. Family turning away. Elias poured nights into advocacy. Returning hollow-eyed. I can't leave them. He confessed one stormy evening. Thunder underscoring resolve. I nodded. Masking the sting me own assent at the studio demanded focus. Collaborations blooming. Resentment simmered unspoken. Bubbling in small slights, forgotten anniversaries. Curt texts. Jack sensed it. Curling between us on the couch like a furry mediator. Crisis crested over Thanksgiving in Portland for a launch. Him in Seattle for rounds. Plane delays stranded me. Holiday traffic his barrier. We connected via screen. Turkey cold on plates. Jax's wine-piercing static. This isn't living. I said. Voice cracking. It's surviving. Silence stretched. Then his admission, you're right. I'm scared off failing them. Failing us. Tears blurred pixels. We vowed change. Post-holiday. He tendered notice. Partial handover to colleagues. For us, he said, packing boxes in our shared rental. Now fully claimed. Transition wasn't seamless. Elias's first Portland shift felt 4 new halls. Unfamiliar faces, but he adapted with grace. Volunteering at my center. Hands steady on scared shoulders. We built rituals, Sunday markets. Farmers' stalls bursting with bounty. Jacks snuffling artichokes. Winters passed gentler. Snow blanketing evergreens like forgiveness. But scars itched me impatience. His overcommitment prompting deeper dives. Couples counseling in a cozy Pearl District office unpacked layers, my planning as armor from loss. His healing as hedge against abandonment. Love thrives in mess. The therapist urged. And we leaned in. Messy and true. Spring heralded growth. Elias's book proposal on queer resilience in medicine. Co-authored with my illustrations pages alive with stories. His words weaving mine. Launch party buzzed. Supporters toasting our synergy. Amid clinks, he pulled me aside. Balcony overlooking bridges aglow. You didn't just plan encounters, you planned a life. Kiss deepened. City humming approval. Yet life's undercurrent tugged. Summer scorched again. Wildfires choking skies. Mirroring inner smokes. Elias's father called from Chicago, Alzheimer's advancing. A plea for visit. Family ties strained his heritage. Machismo clashing with his openness. They still whisper about my face. He shared over backyard grill. Smoke curling. I listened. Grilling veggies. Offering, take me. Show them the phase that built this. The trip south tested awkward dinners. Probing questions, but his mom's tentative hug at airport thawed ice. He's happy, she murmured to me. I soft. Return flight. Elias slept on my shoulder. Peace settling like dust. By autumn's pallet. We sponsored a foster pup sister to Jax. A shy shepherd named Luna expanding our pack. Days filled, me mentoring young designers. Elias lecturing at OHSU. Evenings tangled in laughter and lore. Challenges ebbed, budget strains from book edits. A studio crunch, but we navigated. Tools honed. One eve. As leaves flamed outside. Elias knelt amid takeout cartons. Ring simple silver, etched with a fairy silhouette. Our first escape. Marry the chaos with me. Voice trembled. I pulled him up. Yes, a whisper against lips. Wedding wove intimate backyard under string lights. Quirk encircling. Jax and Luna in bow ties. Vows echoed accident's grit. In wreckage. I found you. In you. Home. Rings exchanged. Dance under stars. Life's weave complete yet ongoing. Years layered like sound's tides. Kids came via surrogacy, twin boys. Mateo and Finn. Dark curls and curious eyes. Adopted into our fold. Fatherhood reshaped, sleepless nights. Elias's lullabies in Spanish. My sketches turning to storybooks of brave hearts. Trials persisted, teen rebellions mirroring our youths. Career pivots amid pandemics, but resilience rooted deep. Anniversaries revisited sites, the Overlook. Now wilder. The clinic. Expanded. On a gray dawn walk. Dogs leading. Elias squeezed my hand. Planned it all. Did you? Tease laced love. I grinned. Best plot twist ever. Reborn. We pressed onslaught. Fierce. Forever entwined. The boys' laughter ricocheted off kitchen tiles. Mateo wielding a spatula like a sword while Finn daubed batter on Luna's nose. Dawnlight slanted through Portland's fog, gilding the chaos of our Sunday ritual pancakes as battleground. Elias flipping with theatrical flair. At 34 now, I watched him gray threading fuller through black. Laugh lines etched permanent, marveling at the man who'd become my compass. 10 years post-accident. The wreck felt mythic. A prologue to this, family forged in deliberate grace. But grace demanded vigilance. Elias's book had soared. Second edition out, thrusting him into circuits TDX stages. Podcasts probing queer erasure in healthcare. Pride swelled. But so did strain. He'd return wired. Dissecting critiques over midnight tea. They call it groundbreaking. He'd say, eyes alight. But what if it's not enough? I'd counter with sketches, caricaturing doubt as a cartoon villain, coaxing his chuckle. My own path evolved studio-led now, mentoring a cohort of diverse talents. Murals sprawling city walls with narratives of rebirth. Yet imposter whispers lingered. Accidents shadow questioning worth. Parenting amplified mirrors. The twins, at 5, navigated preschool with boundless curiosity. Mateo's bold questions on rainbows. Finn's quiet sketches echoing mine. Bedtime stories wove our truths, tales of two dads. One a healer of bodies, the other of dreams, who met when stars aligned post-storm. But external winds howled. A school incident taunts over weird family sent Finn home tear-streaked. Elias held him fierce. Voice steady. Our weird is wonderful. I joined, drawing a family crest, intertwined hearts. Fairy sails, scar lines as strength. That night, over wine, Elias confessed fear. What if the world breaks them like it tried us? We armored as unit, parent groups at the center. Playdates with rainbow kin. Open dialogues at dinner. Summer's mint escapes cabin on Hood Canal. Kayaks slicing water. Bonfires crackling confessions. One twilight. Boys asleep in tent. Elias and I walked shore. Pebbles crunching. Remember planning those coffee runs? He murmured. Arm around waist. I nodded. Tide pulling memories. Desperate measures for destiny. His kiss tasted of salt and certainty. Destiny's keeping up. Challenges crested variably. Elias's dad passed that winter quiet fade in Chicago hospice. Us flying mid-blizzard for vigil. Grief hollowed him. Heritages unresolved, chords vibrating. At graveside, under leaden skies, he spoke in halting Spanish. I at side silent support. Return brought unraveling, Elias retreating to clinic marathons. Me overcompensating with work binges. Boys noticed. Questions probing. Why sad? Papa. Cracks widened until a blowout, accusing withdrawal. Him snapping at my fix-it sketches as dismissal. Words lacerated. Door slammed. Jack's whining in wake. Dawn found me on balcony. City stirring. Regret heavy as fog. Elias emerged. Coffee steaming. Eyes red-rimmed. I planned arguments too. Once. I said. Voice small. He sat. Hand on knee. But not this ending. Reconciliation flowed, tears salted, apologies aired. Grief named. We recommitted to check-ins. Therapy refreshed couples now familial. Boys included in age-soft circles. Spring bloomed forgiveness. Family hikes healing rifts. Milestones marked progress. Twins' 8th birthday, backyard bash. Piñata bursting candy like joys. Elias's keynote at national conference. Me and boys cheering front row. His nod our anchor. My exhibit weaves of want sold out. Pieces chronicling our arc. Accident abstract to union concrete. Critics lauded depth. Elias framed the review. Hung by bed. Yet undercurrents stirred societal. Legislation shifts, rights rolled back in red states ignited Elias's fire. Op-eds penned. Rallies rallied. I joined. Signs aloft with boys. Voices small but swelling. Homefront. It wearied. Dinner debates turned tense. Twins absorbing edges. Enough fighting. Finn asked one eve. Crayon pausing. Elias knelt. Honest, fighting for you. Me Joe. So you fly free. Perspective pivoted, use activism balanced with whimsy. Park picnics prioritizing play. A scared, jolted summer. My checkup flagged anomaly, old fracture shadowing scans. Routine biopsy urged. Waiting room, deja vu gripped. Elias's hand, mine as always. Results benign. Relief crashed like waves. That night. Stars pricking velvet. We lay on blanket. Boys conked out nearby. Thought I'd lose the planner. I quipped. Throat tight. He traced scar anew. You'd find way back. Always do. By fall. Equilibrium held. School projects flourish, Mateo's diorama of family tree. Branches diverse. Finn's story of two heroes saving the day. Holidays hummed, Chicago visit. Abuela's tamales warming bonds. New Year's Eve. Fireworks blooming over river. Elias pulled me close amid cheers. Here's to unplanned wonders. Toast raised. Glasses clinking like promises. Decade's cusp brought reflection. Anniversary trip retraced steps, Seattle ferry. Rain pattering decks. Bluff overlook. Windswept. We stood. Rings glinting. From secret schemes to this. I marveled. His smile. Timeless. Best conspiracy. Back home. Life pulse flawed. Full. Forward. Reborn not once. But endlessly. In love's unyielding weave. Adolescence ambushed like an uncharted storm. The twins at 12 now. Limbs lengthening. Voices deepening into questions that pierced domestic calm. Portland's drizzle mirrored moods, Mateo slamming doors over identity probes. Finn retreating to sketchpads with shadowed eyes. Elias and I, in our 40s steadier stride, navigated the squalls with seasoned hands. But where showed, my temples silvering like his. Laugh lines canyon deeper. The loft, once our duo's haven, echoed with teen tempests. Jack's gray muzzled at 14. Luna his steadfast shadow. Mateo's storm first, locker room jabs at school. Whispers of fairy dads. Igniting fury. He lashed out at dinner. Why can't we be normal? Plate shoved. Chair scraping flight. Elias followed. Door ajar for trust. I lingered kitchen. Heart twisting. Memories of my own buried youth surging. Later. Over chamomile steam. Mateo emerged tentative. Am I? Like you. Elias hugged fierce. If you are, it's power. If not, still power. Talks unfolded, slow books loaned. Center counselors looped. My sketches visualizing fluidity. Mateo bloomed wary. Ally flags pinned to backpack. Pride tentative but tall. Finn's undercurrent ran quieter. Anxiety coiling like fog. Nightmares woke him. Accident tales twisted though he'd never known the wreck firsthand. Stories seeped. What if you leave? He'd whisper. Bedside vigil. I'd share Scar's map. Elias demonstrating stethoscopes beat, hearts like ours. Stubborn survivors. Therapy tailored. Art as outlet, his drawings evolving from chaos to clarity. Figures entwined resilient. Family game nights anchored. Board tiles toppling into giggles. Bonds restaurant. External gales howled too. Elias's advocacy peaked congressional testimony on trans care bans. Flights to D.C. Draining. Return. He'd pace balcony. Briefs crumpled. They're erasing us. Brooks. I'd brew coffee strong. Counter. Then we etch louder. Co-authored now. My visuals amplified his voice, comics and journals. Murals at rallies. But toll mounted, sleep fractured. Tempers short. A blowout erupted post-trip, me resenting solo parenting. Him defensive on duty. You planned for two. I hurled. Old wound reopened. He recoiled. And I fight for four. Stalemate chilled house. Boys tiptoeing. Jax's whine prompted mediation walk at dawn. Leashes taut. We're fraying. Elias admitted. Sound lapping accusations. I nodded. Rain beating lashes. Then men like always. Apology brewed over breakfast. Boys included, dads mess up. But love. That's the fix. Laughter returned. Tentative. Trust threading anew. Milestones mitigated. Twins bar mitzvah. Elias's Jewish roots blended with my agnostic sketches. Ceremony hybrid heartfelt. Synagogue overflowed kin. Vows recited, resilience. Chosen family. Post-ritual feast. Dances swirled. Elias twirling me goofy. Boys rolling eyes fond. My exhibit toured threads of 10 national spotlight. But home base held. Portland's Pulsar core. Challenges compounded creatively. Mateo dated first crush. A non-binary artist. Nerves electric. We coached consent chats. Elias's med wisdom grounding. Listened to hearts. Not just head. Finn's poetry slammed local contests. Verses raw on belonging. Us front row teary. But Teen Whirl included pitfalls, grades dipping. Curfews cracked. A party bust with underage sips. Groundings ensued. Lectures laced love, freedoms earned in trust. Elias's health hiccup mid-year stress echo on EKG. Mandated sabbatical. Irony bit, healer healed. Portland trails became therapy. Me sketching beside. Boys biking ahead. Slow down. Doc. I'd tease. Hand in his. He grinned. Breath easing. Your fault kept me young. Recovery rippled positive. Book 3 conceived. Family focus sharpened. We renovated loft expanded. Teen suites with soundproof dreams. Winter's grip softened to spring activism. Family march for equality. Signs small hands gripped. Media snippet captured us. Fathers for the future. Viral spark. Backlash stung trolls spewing hate but solidarity surged. Invites to panels. We curated boundaries. Boys shielded yet schooled. Words wound. We wield wonder. Anniversary shadowed by elder care. Elias's mom. Frailty advancing. Move to assisted living plotted. Chicago trip bittersweet. Her frail hand in ours. You made beautiful. Tears flowed plain ward. Resolve steeled. Boys absorbed. Letters pinned to abuela. Threads extending. By summer's blaze. Harmony hummed. Twins, 13. Growth spurts sinking with wisdom. Campout in Cascades tents pitched. Stars schooling constellations of self. Around fire. Stories circled, my accident reborn. Elias's immigrant ascent. Boys budding tales. We're a choose your own. Mateo quipped. Marshmallow gooey. Finn nodded. Best plot. Elias caught my eye over embers. Planned a prologue. They wrote the epic. Embrace collective. Night vast. 40's gift, not perfection. But presence families weave. Enduring. Electric. High school loomed like a frontier. The twins at 14 diving into cliques and curricula. Portland's progressive veneer cracking under teen scrutiny. Mateo. Out and proud. Led GSA chapter posters plastered halls. Debates fierce in cafeteria trenches. Finn. Introspective artist. Found solace in Lit Mag. Poems probing identities Inc. Elias and I. Mid-40s anchors. Marveled at their velocity. Our own paces slowing. My portfolio graying with gravitas. His clinic consultations laced legacy. But velocity bred velocity's cost. Mateo's activism ignited backlash online vitriol from out-of-state bots. School admin waffling on event approvals. They hate what we love. He fumed home one eve. Backpack hurled. Elias. Ever mediator. Brewed cocoa, hates loud. Loves louder. We rallied letters to editors. Ally assemblies me graphics amplifying cries. Yet we're etched Mateo. Sleep evading. Elias mirroring worry in whiteboard tallies of moods. Finn's rift ran subterranean, crush unrequited. A classmate's rejection echoing broader fears. Am I broken? He journaled. Pages I glimpsed accidental. Heart ached. We prompted without prying. Art walks yielding, broken. Not beautiful. Therapy evolved. Group for queer youth. His voice emerging soft then strong. Family dinners doubled therapy roundtable truths. No judgments. Societal swells surged. National tides turned hostile bans on gender care. Book purges slashing shelves. Elias testified again. D. C. Drudgery draining. Return ragged. It's war. He declared over news flicker. Remote clutched white-knuckled. I pulled him to couch. Jack's nosing feet. Warriors rest too. Advocacy adapted, local lobbying. Our home hub for strategy sessions. Boys contributing flyers. Finn's verses rallying. Personal currents churned. My sabbatical beckoned artist residency in New Mexico. 3 months of desert solitude for a series on fractured light. Elias encouraged, go weave wild. But parting loomed large twins teary at send-off. His kiss lingering airport curb. Taos Arroyos inspired. Canvases ablaze with rebirth motifs. Nightly calls threading distance. Miss your chaos. He'd quip. Or echoes behind. Return harvest mooned. Exhibit preview packed desert, hues evoking our scars. Elias fronted. Speech weaving my art with his heart, light through cracks. Post-reception. Hotel suite. Reconnection fervent bodies rediscovering. Souls synced. Planned solo. Thrived shared. I murmured afterglow. He traced new lines on my skin. Always. Challenges cascaded. Twins driving lessons Elias white-knuckled passenger. Me sketching crash-free talismans. Dates dawned. Mateo's prom with partner Alex. Tux's twinned. Finn's indie film fest. Short honored. Pride swelled parental. But pitfalls pocked. Grade slumps from distractions. A fender bender finessed with forgiveness. Elias's milestone of 50th surprised seaside, Cannon Beach. Bonfire bash with kin. Surf symphony. Boys roasted him gentle. Toasts tender, hero in scrubs. I gifted bespoke stethoscope. Engraved listen to us. Nightcap private. Waves crashing. He whispered, half century with you. Best diagnosis. Elder threads tugged, mom's health waned. Hospice horizon. Family converged Chicago. Twins teen tall at bedside. Stories swapped in hushed tones. Her passing gentle. Legacy in letters left, love loud. My loves. Grief group hugged us home. Rituals raw planting lilac for her bloom. Fall foliage framed forward. Twins 15. Licenses earned. Road trips tentative, Olympic Peninsula. Histories hiked. Cabin talks deep in future fathoms. College constellations. Mateo eyed urban arts. Finn coastal sciences. Your paths. Elias affirmed. Esmores melting. Ours intertwined. Winter's hush hosted holidays hybrid, Portland-Chicago blend. Tamales and lax. New Year's resolution renewal Elias yoga. Me journaling unscripted. Spring sparked twins campaigns, Mateo for council youth board. Finn's zine launch. We backed. Ballots and booths. Victories small but seismic. Summer solstice camped again. Fireside philosophies. Accidents echo now fable for fortitude. You plan survival. Finn mused. Stars winking. Mateo grinned. We plan thriving. Elias's arm heavy on mine. Collective conspiracy. Mid-40s gift, guidance. Not grip watching wings unfurl. Are we vast? Vibrant. College crests cracked nests. Twins 18 now. Suitcases stuffed with dreams and doubts. Portland's autumn blaze bidding bittersweet by. Mateo to NYU Tisch performing arts blaze. City lights luring. Fin to UC Santa Cruz Environmental Lit. Redwoods Whispering Wisdom. Elias and I. Empty nesters at 52. Wave from dorm curbs. Hearts hollow yet heaving pride. Drive home silent first. Then spilling, they soared. His hand on gear shift. Like their dads. Empty echoed initial meals for two. Jax's spots vacant, his peaceful past last spring. Luna lone sentinel. Studio quieted. Canvases waiting. Clinic routines wrote. Elias eyeing semi-retirement. We filled voids deliberately, traveled tentative Mexico City. Markets mirroring his roots. Murals my muse. Nights tangoed lessons. Laughter and missteps. Planned dates anew. I teased. Spin dizzying. He dipped low. Eternal improv. But voids vented vulnerabilities. Elias's physical frayed shoulder from, or marathons. PT prescribed ironic. Healer healed. He quipped. Weights grunting. I joined. Sketches of strained forms. My own ache surface creative block. Post-residency slump. Brushes dry. What now? Over coffee. Willamette winking. Therapy tandem. Evolve the weave. Prompts pour community workshops. Queer elders mentoring youth via Zoom. Our bridge. Twins tethers tugged. Mateo's Manhattan Whirl editions anxious. Calls midnight. Imposter here. Elias coach breath work. I storyboards for resolve. Finn's forest Idolico protests passionate. Homesick hollers. Miss Luna's snores. Packages shipped care kits with sketches. Elias's herbal teas. Holidays home healed Thanksgiving theater. Mateo's improv cracking us. Christmas coastal. Finn's poetry recital raw. Societal scars scabbed slow. Post-election chills. Rights resilient but ragged. Elias consulted remotely. Testimony virtual. I illustrated manifestos. Digital dissents. Local legacy, center expansion. Our names etched plaque, Harlan Grant Wing. Dedication theory. Twins toasting. Ancestors now. Personal pivots propelled. Elias's sabbatical sailing Puget Sound. Skipper lessons laughing waves. Captain my chaos. I crewed. Knots novice. Return. Book 4 birthed, memoir medley. Our arc anonymized for others. Co-ed at nights. Red pins romantic. My breakthrough bloomed graphic novel Reborn threads. Accident origin to empty nest now. Serialized acclaim. Launch tour overlap twins breaks. Family panels poignant. Love's long game. Q&As queried. Secret to staying. Elias on stage. Hand mine. Show up scripted or not. Challenges crested couple core. Midlife musings Elias prostate scare. Biopsy benign, but bonding biopsy weight vigil. Hands clasped like firsts. My vertigo episode. World whirling rec echo. His steady gaze grounding. Breathe with me. Recovery rituals renewed yoga duets. Forest baths. Luna's fade winter soft. 14 faithful. Backyard burial. Boys Zoom tiered. Pax eternal. Mateo messaged. Finn's poem attached. Spring stirred solace foster feline. Tabby terror named sage. Claws claiming calm. Twins 20. Sophomore strides. Mateo's off-Broadway buzz. Finn's thesis on climate queers. Visits vivid NYC bagels with Broadway tales. Santa Cruz bonfires. Starlit seminars. Parental pride peaked. Advice sparse. Your weave now. Anniversary 25th shadowed by Elias's mom legacy endowment in her name. Chicago ceremony. Twins flew. Toast transnational. Back. Balcony reflection. From plans to this tapestry. His hazel. Time softened. Masterpiece. Summer Sabbath. Greek Isles. Whitewashed wonders. Isles idle olives and ouzo. Ruins ruminating resilience. Cliffside sunset. Rings refreshed simple bands. Vowed then. Vow ever. He murmured. Sea sighing accord. Fall framed forward. Twins home holidays. Table's talkative careers contemplated. Love's hinted. Mateo bicoastal bow. Finn's lab partner lingering looks. We mirrored mentors. Hearts lead. Heads heat. Empty no more filled fuller. Futures folding in. 50s fortune, legacy lived. Love's loom endless. Decades dance to 30s close for twins. 28 like my accident age. Cycles circling profound. Mateo thrived Broadway adjacent choreographer credits. Queer narratives staged fierce. Finn flowered academia PhD coastal. Publications probing eco-queer intersections. Visits voluntary now. Holidays hubs of hilarity and heart. Mateo's tales theatrical. Finn's fieldwork photos framed. Elias and I. 60s threshold at 58. Savored sage, seasons clinic consulting light. My studio serene. Commissions chosen. But circles conjured cares. Elias's retirement whispers full halt post-pandemic pivot. Legacy lectures lingering. What fills void? Over vineyard visit. Willamette grapes glowing. You. Grandkids. Travel unbound. Laughter lightened. But truth tempered. Health horizons hazed. Annuals attuned. Twins turns tugged. Mateo's engagement Alex. The high school spark reignited. Rings rainbow etched. Wedding weekend Woodstock vibed. Upstate farm. Vows verdant. We walked a mile. Elias teary, from boy to blaze. Finn's fellowship abroad New Zealand fjords. Research remote. Farewell dinner dockside. Hugs harbor deep, wings wide. Nest near. Grandparent gleam germinated. Mateo's announcement surrogacy surprise. Daughter due spring. Elias hooped. Hands framing belly imaginary. Abuela's echo. My sketchbook swelled nursery murals planned. Stars and seas. Due date danced near. Portland prepped, crib assembled awkward. Elias's medkit stocked. Birth blazed beautiful Elias coaching calm. Me capturing cries. Lila arrived loud. Lungs legacy. Tiny fists fighting air. Holding her first. Elias wept open, cycle complete. Twins parents now. Awestruck. We grandparents grinning fools. Luna's successor sage supervised. Tail twitch territorial. Parenting redux rippled. Sleepless supports rocking shifts. Elias's lullabies layered generations. My story spun. Pages peopled with great-grand tales twisted true. Challenges charmed, colic concerts. Teeth tantrums. But joy's juiced first steps wobbly to us. Gurgle's greeting. Broader bonds bloomed. Finn's return. Partner Pia Maori marine biologist. Union unified cultures. Wedding waveside. Hawaii hushed. Lays linking lineages. Vows voiced. Tides turn. We endure. Grandchild 2. Sun Kai. Followed fall Finn's fjord focus familial. Legacy layered. Elias's honors Hall of Fame healthcare. Gala graced twins toasts. He healed worlds. My retrospective span museums. Weave eternal. Accident artifact amid. Book series sealed. Volumes vaulted. Trials tempered triumph. Elias's knee replacement irony immobile. Me Mulai and G meals. Recovery rambled rehab. Grumbles good-natured. Your turn to plan. Vertigo's sequel spun me. But balance beams bolstered. Yoga yielding. Societal shifts side relief rights ratified wider. Though vigilance vital. We volunteered vestiges, centerboard. Story hours for tots on diverse dads. Twins emulated Mateo mentoring performers. Finn funding fellowships. 60th synced Elias surprise safari. African sunsets symbolic. Savannah sprawl. Lions lounging. He marveled, life's wild weave. Nightcap safari stars. My gift journal, chapters co-authored. Anniversary 30th. Greece Redix Santorini Whites Whiter. Wines Wiser. Caldera Contemplation. Plan Spark. Fan Flame. Rings Rotated. Eternity Etched. Grandkids Grew Gleeful Lila 4. Kai 2. Romps Raucous. Park Picnics. Swings Soaring. Elias Pushing Patient. Me Sketching Sprites. Bedtimes Bridged. Once. Grandpa Crashed. Grandpapa Saved. Tails Twisted Tender. Morals Mended. Fall 40s for us 62. Silver Synced. Twins 30. Lives Launched. Mateo Director Debut. Finn Professorship. Visits Voluptuous Dinners Dozen Deep. Laughter Legacy. Winter Wrapped Wonders. New Year's Nested Cabin Kin. Fires Familial. Resolutions Reflective. Presence Paramount. Spring Sprouted Lila's Letters. Kai's Crayons. Summer Solstice Sailed Sound. Full Circle Fairy. Declined. Elias's Head Shoulder Nestled. From Secret to Saga. Horizon Hummed Hope. 60s Song, not Sunset. But Spectrum Loves Light. Unending.